we're on the Country versus Metal podcast with Christopher Wright. What is going on?
What's up, Patrick? How you doing, brother?
What's crazy is we've met, we've hung out, and I think, you know, obviously I do some intel, and I was like, God, it just looks really familiar. Like I've seen you around, and then like when I looked on like the TikTok, I was like, oh, I'm already following you. I was like, cool. You know, and then like I wish I would have had it recorded when Steve's like, and you were like, oh yeah, I was there at the thing. The red you were wearing the red cowboy hat, right?
Yeah, man. That's like my I got a hat that I typically wear as a signature. So yeah, it's actually the lady that made that hat for me is she owns a company in Dallas called Brim Design, and she made that hat for me. So it's kind of like, it's one of those things where it fits just right. So
Yeah,
it's my lockdown.
Yeah, and well, I'm a big fan of the color red, and it's definitely out there with like you don't really see a lot of like hats like that because.
Well, this hat's not, it's not really red. It's like it's actually this one is the one that, this was probably the one that I had on.
Really? But why do I? Does it have like we weren't at like a red light district?
Maybe you're seeing red.
You're seeing red. Oh, and I know. There was someone wearing red. That was a fun night.
Dude. The White Elephant is kind of, well, first of all, it's like a historical place, and usually it's like kind of transient people that will like come off of the airport and they're coming to Fort Worth, so it's everybody's just kind of wanting to see it, so it's more touristy. So there's a lot of comings and goings right there where we were standing, so it can get a little bit discombobulating in that place when it's packed. So it's easy to forget.
Yeah, that was a great turnout. We had done one the year prior, and it was crazy to think. People were like, you know, it's nuts, man. You're a dude from Delaware, and here's all these Texas, Oklahoma artists out here just to hang out and celebrate what's going on. I was like, man, I never really thought of it like that.
It wasn't on your bingo card whenever you started down this pathway, huh?
Dude, I never thought I would ever like country music.
That's what I heard. That's what Steve told me. He was like, he gave me a little bit of background on how you came to this, and it's fascinating, man. But you're still gigging and stuff out there in the Northeast, like on your guitar though. Like do you play out or? Yeah.
It kind of slowed down. There's a lot of tribute bands out here, and it's just I just don't get the allure of it. I get I respect the dedication of being in a tribute band. But to go, like, maybe if there was a band so huge that I couldn't afford to go see one day, I don't know. Maybe I go see a tribute band. But like, other than that, like our venues out here, they just we lost a lot in COVID. But you know, and the one guy I played with, he had a kid, and then he was like, let's get out on the road, and I'm broke, man, I need to make some extra money. And then he called back up, he's like, man, I'm having another kid. I'm like, that's not how you fix that, but okay, you know. And then just life gets to it, because my one buddy, we're supposed to go to Nashville and record another EP. I mean, we already did the songwriting sessions, and it's just like, just getting out there and time and
cost money too.
Yeah. We locked out our first EP. They originally gave us 16 hours free in a studio.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then there was, you know, they put, hey, if you're going to do this, and we give you this time, we wanted to do it. We wanted to do it like this, release it like this. And I was like, it wasn't too drastic or anything. It wasn't anything that took from our sound. And I was like, you know what? If that's how you want to do it, absolutely. Your time is money, and we didn't have the money for your time. So that's a good reconciliation. And a couple of the band members were like, nah, man, we want to do it like this, that, and this. And it just split it up. And I'm like, dude, it's country. You go with the voice. I learned that very fast. It's the voice. Like, guitar players, Donna doesn't. But
There are
yeah.
a lot. That's funny you said that, because somebody asked me the other day. I was in the airport and somebody asked me. They're like, "Well, what do you play?" And I was like, "Well, I can't even answer that question anymore, because I accompany myself with a guitar, is what I say now, because I've got so many friends that are real guitar players. I mean, I've been playing the guitar since I was about 11, but like I still don't have like some of the chops that some of my friends, who I swear to God, they sleep with their guitar, and they they have it in their sleep when they're just like they're fingering their guitar at night, like doing chords. I don't know what it is, but some people, it's just I praise them. And I do not try to call myself a guitar player, although my wife thinks that I can play, so that's a good thing.
I tell you what, I was watching. First, I was listening to you, and then I was watching you play on TikTok and your socials, and I thought maybe you had like the thing like you stomp on, that makes like the cajon sound, like the percussion. It's your right hand.
It is.
Yeah, because like normally, like after COVID, I was done with just acoustic. You know what I mean? That's all. But it really brings a cool element that like I'm like, okay, because like I'm always looking for other stuff. You know what I mean? Like I love like nuances and just watching somebody play that stuff that I don't do, that I would sit down on my guitar and be like, okay, how do I do that? As like, because you have great timing. It's very good, dink, dink, like a metronome, very natural. It's just I've really I don't know if I have that good of timing, but that's something I always strive to do. But man, you do it with your singing, your chords, and also your right hand. And I really love how you do that. You may not even know that you do it like that unless you really just like watch yourself. I don't think that
anyone's ever told me that, but I appreciate that more than you know, man, because that's literally, I think that is, for some reason, that is really important to me, that timing thing, and being able, dude, if I could go down as like one of the most locked down rhythm players on the planet, I'm good with that, because I love watching guys like you and guys like Tobin Dale, who's in my album, and Jonathan Tyler and Lucas Hubbard, Ray Wiley Hubbard's kid. They produced my last album, and both of them are machines on a guitar.
Yeah.
So, and then Tobin Dale flies in from Nashville. He's probably one of the most sought after guitar players in the country. He's always gigging out in Nashville. Bands are always trying to get a piece of him. He's in Japan one day. He's in the Philippines. I mean, the dude he's a real guitar slinger. He's a ninja. So like, it's kind of one of those things where if I could ever get it to where, I can get a cat like that to go, man, I'd like to play with that dude, because he locks down a rhythm that I can just get into a groove, as Ray would say. He'd say, just get into lock into a groove and stay there, and I think that's where the greatness of the song can develop. And as I can do that, and I can hear other things kind of come in, kind of leave enough space for different instrumentation to come in, then I really do feel like it makes the song be alive. And then as a songwriter, the words just come, it's like the emotion's there, and then it elicits the lyric, I think. So
yeah,
that's the way we work. That's the way like Tobin and I, for example, we were in this new album that we put out. There's a song on there called Linoleum, and it's like it's a bluesy breakdown beat, junky little funky little thing, man. And it's become the most, dude, it was the song that we wrote when we were in the mother-in-law suite waiting on recording the rest of the album. We were just farting around, and I was like, the song's called Linoleum. So like, I was telling him, I was like, dude, that feeling that you get like when you made a whole bunch of real bad decisions in a row, and you're sick as a dog, and you're laying right next to the toilet, and the cold of the floor is the most comfortable thing that you're just like, oh God, this floor feels so good. I was like, well, let's write this song called Linoleum, because I remember a time where I was loving the linoleum floor that I was having to rest my drunk ass head on. So it was, it's kind of like, I don't know. I never thought I would write a song about a flooring product, but Linoleum. There you go. And it's like right now it's streaming more than any other song on the album. It's like on our streaming things, it's like it like almost 7,000 streams. We haven't really promoted it. It wasn't anything that we, it's just kind of naturally popping off the album. So man, I was a surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good song. I'm terrible with remembering lyrics, but it was like when you meet face to face.
Yeah, it's like the first lyrics, like warm water on my face, cold beer in the shower doing what I gotta do to wash off the night before.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Like I'm a huge fan. It's funny, like I love all like the old blues guys, but like there's so many of them. It's hard to like really like just
Muddy Waters, Lightning Hopkins.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the names I always forget, and I always mix them together. Like, but yeah, like I really like just the bass of like the blues sound, and that song is chock full of that.
Yeah, it is, dude. And I had no idea where it was gonna go. I mean, like that's another thing that I think that I want to do continuously through my career is that when I get into a recording session or a studio and people are in the room, I really want each individual artist, whether it's the guitar player or the drummer or the bass player, keyboard player, whatever, I kind of give them, like creative, indulgence of latitude. So if they can, what do you hear right here? And then I think that's the way it works, because somebody kind of takes ownership of the song that you wrote, because they're like, wait a minute, okay, I hear this on this thing, watch this. I mean, I had a cat that played bass on this album. His name's John Michael, and John Michael actually plays bass for Jack Ingram on the regular, so I mean, the dude's like locked down. He's a badass bass player. And then Kyle Schneider is Ray Wiley's drummer. So those two guys have played together a lot because they live down there in the Texas Hill Country. And they, just to have that rhythm section right there. And I'm like, hey, you guys, what do y'all hear in this? And so like as the song kind of gets a life to it, I mean, a lot of it is because I let those guys interpret their instrument into it. And I feel like that makes the song better. So it's not a me thing. It's more of a we thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, Ray Riley Hubbard, just even his posts of just like, he'll be describing like a cool night. He is definitely, he is on a different plane of existence. And I love it. Just the way how he can explain just, like I would be like, yeah, we went to dinner. It was cool. And he could write like an epic, just
he's a storyteller.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's just something that simple. It is definitely, it's definitely like a really, really cool gift. And like you might praise him for it and you'd be like, I don't know, just do the thing, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's pretty humble, but he's also, he's a mentor. He's my mentor. And, and I don't think that he would mind me saying this because it's written in his book. Ray got sober like 38 years ago. Mm-hmm. And he has, since he's been sober, and I know before me, he's helped so many cats in this business understand that you can do this business sober and you can do it at a high level. And you can do it for a long time. Yeah. But there's a few things that he suggests in the process. And it's very stoic in thought. It's very measured. All of it is based on, it's really foundationally based on a 12-step program on how you live your life kind of things. It's less about not drinking and more about how we're living. And that, since I met Ray and started working with him in 2022, I started going to I was actually invited to a call that he does with some people, and it's like it's a men's group and just like a lot of artists. There's some directors and really cool, really neat people that I've met on this call. And one of the neatest things about it is it's just a community of support. where we can, just like kind of throw things up against the wall and see if, like if anybody can relate to it. And it's just been instrumental in my growth as a human being. And then, so Ray and I hadn't even spoken about any music for almost a year. And I had 4 songs that I was wanting to record. I was going to record Collin County Jail over in Denton, Texas with a group that first of all, they wanted like $3,500 to do the single, and then they wanted 10% of the royalties on the back end. And I was like, wait a minute, that sounds, I haven't been doing this for a really long time, but I was born at night, but not last night kind of thing. So I was like, that sounds a little bit, exorbitant. So I'm going to, best person I could think of to run it up the flagpole is Ray Wiley Hubbard. So I was like, hey, Ray, do you mind if I ask you a question off this call? It's kind of, can we talk shop? He's like, sure. Here's my number, my cell phone number. So I'm like, wow, I've got Ray Wiley Hubbard's cell phone in my phone. First of all, I'm a 5th generation Texan who's grew up liking country music, and I'm a songwriter. Ray Wiley Hubbard is one of my heroes, man. So, I never, for a million years, wasn't on my bingo card that I would have Ray Wiley Hubbard as a sponsor in this thing. But it was an amazing kind of a transformation, because what ended up happening ultimately was I told him about the thing that was going on and about the 10 points. He goes, well, what are you going to do about those songs anyways? What are you planning on doing with them? I was like, well, I want to record them, Ray. He said, well, I tell you what, why don't you send them over here to me, and I'll get back to you and tell you if they're worth the shit, kind of thing. And I was like, all right, cool. So I'm like on cloud 9. I get a chance to pitch 4 songs to Ray Wiley Hubbard. So Patrick, this is in March of 23. All of March goes by, all of April goes by, half of May goes by. I'll never forget it, because it was May 17th. I was just gotten home from the gym, fixing to get in the shower. Shower was on. I see my phone rang, so I shut the shower off and I took the call butt naked, because Ray Wiley Hubbard was calling me. I was like, hold on, shut it down. Hey, Ray, what's going on? He's like, all right, well, I need you to be in Dripping Springs, Texas at the Zone Studios at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, wait, what? Like, first of all, I never got the middle part, like, I like them and I want to move forward with these things. But so I just told my wife, I was like, all right, honey, looks like we're going down to Dripping Springs, Texas, Monday. We got to record with Pat Mansky was the guy who originally tracked it. It was a cat that did some work for the Band of Heathens and stuff like that in that studio. It was like, it was, Lucas and Tobin was going to come in, and all of these things that were put together, and it was just like it was surreal, man. I get down there and Ray's there and Judy's there, his wife who's just amazing, and Lucas is there, and they start putting these sounds together. And because Ray basically approached me with, he goes, hey man, I hear the Rolling Stones in your country music, and I was like, yes, let's chase that. So when you hear those little Rolling Stone riffy kind of things in our album, that's Tobin Dale, and that's Lucas Hubbard, and that's Ray. That's the thing that we all agreed on, and that was how I feel like I found my sound in there. And man, I'm forever grateful to that guy. We were opening for him in Orange Grove, Texas, and I have a trailer, and we were kind of using it as the green room. And my wife and I were in the trailer, and Ray, we were talking about, goals and things like that. And Ray's very visual. So he had me, write out goals and stuff like that. And he asked me what I thought that I wanted to do. And I said, well, I want to be a songwriter. I want to write songs. And he's like, well, have you ever thought about suggesting to write down and be a prosperous songwriter? I was like, no, I never really thought about that. But he's talking about intentionality to the fact, like be more specific to what you want to do. And man, since then, he just basically said, hey, you're going to get to your goals. So long as your purpose is noble and you're willing to do the work, the only thing that stands between you and your goal is time. I was like, wait a minute, that's kind of cool. That kind of boils it down to something I can get down with, just keep stepping in the straight direction. So, man, to tell you, I could sit here and talk the whole time about, how much respect I have for my mentor, man, but it's been surreal, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, dude, that's incredible. Like, I don't know where I seen it, and I've been meaning to do a deeper dive. That like Stevie Ray Vaughan was talking to Ray about sobriety. And
yeah, Stevie Ray Vaughan is one of the people that got Ray sober a long time ago, dude. They were in the Dallas meetings together here in AA.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, he's got a book. Ray's got a book. It's called A Life Well Lived. It's the most amazing use for a comma that I've ever seen. I think I got it around here somewhere. It's it's like a life. You know, it's when you look at it, it'd be like a life well lived, but it's not. It's a life well lived. You know, so that's Ray all the way. So when I for this album, I titled it "The Other Side" because it's effectively what my life looks like on the other side of getting sober and starting to do this thing full time. And I put it's all under it's in lowercase because that was a nod to Ray, you know, because he does, like when he writes, he doesn't use, you know, he doesn't really use capitals. He doesn't use really a lot of punctuations or anything. People have asked him, like, you know, why do you do that? Are you trying to be quirky? Or are you trying to be like kind of hip about what? He's like, no, I'm just lazy. I'm just so that was why we named it The Other Side lowercase. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool how just everything just spirals around, you know, just and because that you know, I obviously like he's how old is Ray now?
78.
78, man, and he's still out there doing it. I saw him the first time I was down in Texas.
We were backstage. He was on the Texas Live. You know where they it's over there by where the Globe Life Park. Ray had a full crowd at Texas Live, man. And this chick gets up there. He's like doing one of his last songs, and this lady's just hammered. She jumps up on stage, like jumps across the bar, gets on stage, and starts whirly-birding around. Ray's up there with like a multi-$1,000 ES335. And he's 77 years old at the time. So, you know, like he's not getting out of the way like he used to. But Luke is kind of like, this lady gets up, she's all throwing around, and they go on with the song. They get her off the stage, bouncer gets her off and all that stuff. But my wife and I were downstairs, like right lower of the risers, and right when Ray was finishing his show, at the top of the right, he comes down, he looks at Angela, my wife, and goes, "Still got it, don't I?" I was like, dude, I want to be like that guy when I grow up. I swear to God. Yeah,
that's funny.
Cool.
Now, like when you're listening back to like what you just recorded with him, was there a moment when like you look over and he hears himself in you? Did you ever have like a moment?
No, that's a good question. I've never asked him that. I did ask him the other day. I said, "Hey, did you see that video that we put out about the Collin County Jail? We put a brand new video out, Ray." He said, "Yeah, it makes you look a lot cooler than you really are." So I think that whenever you start getting those kind of barbs is when you know that you're actually you're in the fold, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. That's cool that, you know, that he watches your content and everything. And it's like when you think about it, it's like, did you really choose your influence of Ray, or did he choose you?
That's a good question, man.
Did the universe bring, you know what I mean? Like, cause
you know what? I think that's a God thing, dude. I do. I think that's a God thing all the way around. I think I needed to know, and I prayed a lot for it. I was just like, because for the longest time, Patrick, I didn't think that I could do this thing unless I had at least a couple of whiskey shots in me, because I just didn't have, there was like the inhibition, you know, like I needed some sort of social lubricant to make it happen, make it work. And there was no way that I drank and made poor decisions for the better part of 15 or 20 years. And all it ever wounded me up with was jails and institutions. And I knew the next thing was going to be death. So it's like, I really do believe that it was like I think it's divine intervention for real. And then I learned that the purpose that I had going forward was was noble and that I can do it. And that my job now is not necessarily to live so much for me as a selfish person, but really to try to observe what I can see and put it into song, and then make the very best music that I can that maybe somebody can relate to down the line. So it's like, I feel like it's a mission anymore, dude.
Yeah.
So it makes it easier to get up in the morning. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's like another Blues Brother movie.
There you go, man. There you go. Hell yeah.
Obviously it's serious, but yeah, like it definitely is an incredible story, especially when I was watching the one video. It said when you were in acute liver failure and you were hooked up to the machines and they took you off, and you just said, not today. That's
yeah. I got terribly. I got scared, man. It was like I was in. Okay, it was September. In September of 2016, I went into the hospital because I was throwing a bundle of shingles in the back of my truck, and I got like a hernia. And at the time, my alcoholism was so that, like, if I didn't have, like, I don't know, probably like a 0.2 BAC, then I was vibrating. You know what I mean? I was shaking. It was bad. So, like, I was a constant cocktail. I was needing enough alcohol to get me through the day, and then as I'd start shaking, I would get, like, it was like, what depressant could I put into my system, and then a stimulant, and then it's like I was like trying to regulate my my biology, to like I thought I was some sort of a chemist or something like that, man. And it got to the point to where, I was in a medically induced coma for 8 days because I had my liver at acute liver failure, and my pancreas actually shut down, and my spleen like erupted. So all my old blood was clearly bad, so they had to drag all that out and put new stuff in, dialysis. So it was like all that stuff had to go on, and this was like right around September the 7th or 8th. So like when they pulled me off those machines, they sent my pastor from our church, Jeff Ron, to the hospital to read me my last rites, because the machines weren't doing anything and my body wasn't really responding necessarily. So I remember, though, when I was laying in that bed and I had a tracheotomy thing down my throat and I couldn't really move around or say much, but I remember being really scared when I saw my pastor walk into the hospital room. And yeah, man, I'm like, what in the hell is he doing here? So then I think that what ended up happening was, like, I realized that I was where I was, and I got really scared because at that point I didn't want to die anymore. I'm like, I'll do whatever it takes, whatever I need to do. And I think somewhere in that fog I made a deal, and I'm sticking to it. So it's been a miracle ever since. They sent me my community in Allen put on a golf tournament. Allen, Texas here put on a golf tournament and raised like $12,000 to send me to Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, this place called Stepping Stones, where they're going to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. And, man, I stayed out there for like 30 days and I came back, and that was the beginning of the journey, man. And, everything had to change. So little by little, I literally changed everything that I was doing, everything I was eating, the way I was praying, acting, talking to people, everything. So it all had to change. And dude, now I don't have, I've got a wife that actually loves me and she wants to come home, like things like that, or we want to go places together. My bills are actually paid. The cops aren't chasing me anymore. It's kind of like, wow, I stopped poisoning myself, and then life started changing in all these different ways. And now, and then, like you said, then it's like, there's this universal thing that was like, well, because of this, did we well, let's give him Ray Wiley Hubbard. I don't know why the universe does what it does, but another thing that man teaches is, do what you can, make sure that you're good by the people around you, but be the very best version of yourself that you can be. But then let the universe do the rest. Leave room for serendipity. Don't think that you have to strangle everything, manage everything. So it's been that makes everything a lot easier, man.
Yeah, dude, I know the feeling. Like being able to drive without having to worry about red and blue lights it's an amazing feeling. Because if not,
do I gotta throw something out of the car? Like,
that kind of some people, they can handle that. I am not someone that can handle the constant stress of just. It's so much easier just to,
Oh God, it's exhausting, dude. It's exhausting. I was constantly having to remember what lies I told, and there wasn't any reason for lying. It's like, what are you doing?
I know that's the one thing when I used to like manage people or be in a band, I'd be like, if we're canceling a show, tell them the truth. Yeah. The truth. It's so much easier to remember, if not, like, did we blow a tire? Did we tell them we blew a tire at this venue or that venue or this? And it's just be like, hey, man, just tell the guy, we thought we were doing this and we were kind of doing it as a favor. And then we got a bigger decision or a bigger opportunity. And man, we really want to do that. And they tell them straight up, hey, we were going to lie to you and tell you we blew a trailer because we love you. But, just the truth is just so much easier. And like you said, like you don't have to remember anything. You just reality is it. There's some people that can lie, like, and they're professionals, but
pathological liars.
Yeah, but man, just being honest, especially in music, and I'll tell you, your bio is one of the most honest bios because you see your socials. I've seen you on some podcasts, and then you read the bio, and you're like, "Oh my God, I never would have." From how of what I saw of man, you know what I mean? Like, and that's cool because like it's like you ever hear JD Graham's "A Pound of Rust" song?
No,
Oh, dude, it is. It's a song of him about him doing being incarcerated and just putting things in his body. It's one of the most honest songs I've ever heard. And he talks about like, I sold some guitars and a lot of them weren't mine. And as a musician, you're like, hey, you know what I mean? Like that ain't cool, but it's such a great, honest song. It's just like at the end of it, you're like, man, I support this dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like reading your bio, it's just like, there is no mystery of really like anything of songs. I was like, man, there's definitely no mystery. You just seem to be like, hey man, let's just cut right to the chase. This is what this song's about. And this is what I'm about. And did I have a flawed past? In case that comes up, it's already out there. And you can be like, you
gotta own it.
Yeah. And hey man, like it's sometimes, dude, your song shortcuts.
You dig that song?
I really do. Sometimes,
okay.
Of the road taken, the best way to go is the long way.
Man, that is it. That song was hard for me to sing because I kept getting choked up about it. I kept I'd get teary about it, but it's such a because the first lyrics of the song are, these legs that are holding up my table are shaking from the weight of my sin. And I wrote that tune with a cat named Louis Ray out in Nashville, and we wrote that song in like 45 minutes. It came out really quick because I told him that I felt like that what I was having to do was I was kind of getting back into like some of the basics of this stuff. There's this like book by Sheila Davis. It's called the basically just the art of lyric writing, you know. So it's been around forever, and Ray gave me that book actually, and I realized that I needed to go back to like foundational stuff, learning, you know, that I thought was boring. Like when I was, you know, theory, dude, I hated. I didn't want to learn. I just wanted to play. I just wanted to make sound.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to. I just wanted to get to the good stuff. You know, and I skipped some of the fundamentals. So that shortcut, it ended up being a long way to go for me, because I'm going back and you know, like kind of filling some of those potholes that I probably should have not circumvented earlier, you know?
Yeah. Dude, I know what you're talking about 100%, because for a while, I remember people will be like, man, you can play guitar really, really, really fast. That's really cool. And I remember the first time someone looked over and just said, hey, man, this song, it's this. And I'm like, I never heard it. And they're like, oh, don't worry, it's in the key of A minor. And I'm like, I don't know what that,
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. And he just looked at me. He's like, how it's the first scale you ever learn. And I was like, I don't know no scales. And they're like, how? And then I was like, you just like remember being like so mad at myself. There were these people that really thought that I was like this big music guru. And I'm like, man, I don't know anything. Yeah. And that's why I always tell people, like, when someone sees you and they see you play guitar, they see you do something, and they be like, "No, man, you're really good." And they think just because you're at a level you are that you wouldn't like teach them something. And I always think it's always good to sit down with someone that doesn't know anything and try to teach them, because then it'll humble you, and it'll also teach you like stuff that you forgot.
Yeah.
And I love that, because people are like, when you tell them, like, it blows people's mind when you say, like, okay, here's this in major and here's this in minor, and they go, it's the same thing. I said, it is the same notes, but it's different. It resides on this. It's the tonal center, but don't worry, your brain will pick it naturally. And that's the part that always blows my mind, is I was just playing just by feel, just what made my brain happy, but
what you recognize as Western music.
Yeah.
That's another thing that's fascinating in itself too, is that, you know, like how we know just naturally how something's going to resolve, you know, like how, you know, like it's going to build up, and then you kind of feel like, even if you're not a musician, you kind of know, like when you're singing something, that it's going to go here, you know. It sounds like it should be here. So if it doesn't, you're like, wait, what was that? That was interesting. That ended on the 5 chord. Where'd that come from?
Yeah.
It's supposed to end on the 1. But that being said, though, one of the things that I'm loving about songwriting is that there aren't any rules. So, like, with that whole thing being, you know, there's so many people. Like I was working. Do you know Justin Ross and the Deadwood Revival?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Justin is my boy, man. We're recording a song called Common Sense in May. And I went over there the other day just to see if he liked it. And he was like, fuck it, we're going to do this, man. We got to do this. We're going to do a video on it. It's badass. It's like it's going to be, well, basically picture it this way. It's like a kind of a 1920s, 30s, 40s, something like that, somewhere in there. Kind of see like a kind of a grainy video, maybe even reel to reel, where it's kind of like even got some holes and stuff like that burned into the video. And you've got a guy standing on a box, and he's talking to this congregation, and the congregation, it looks like kind of like a snake oil salesman. He's trying to sell something, you know, and what he's trying to sell, bro, is common sense, but nobody's buying. You know what I'm saying? And so, funny thing is, I sent it to Johnny, and he was like, is this a political thing, man? Because if it is, I don't want anything to do with it. And I was like, no, dude, it has nothing to do with politics. It has everything to do with what I feel like right now. I think a lot of people are making some really dumb decisions. Like, it seems like that could be thwarted by the simple interjection of some common sense. No. Just thinking, I can probably come up with 50 different examples right now, but that's beside the point. That being said, this, like I had this. I saw the video first, and I told Justin about it, and he's like, "Yeah, man, we got to record that." And we're gonna have, and so I think that what we're gonna do is, I think the Deadwood Revival, his whole band is gonna be on the album. Is gonna be on this song. I opened for them on New Year's for their New Year's show, so that's kind of how we got to know each other even better. We've known each other for years, but that was that's going to be the next one that comes out. It's going to be a driving song, and it's going to be our opener for our sets and stuff like that. So we're looking forward to it, man. I'm not sure how I got off on that tangent, but I'm looking forward to recording that song.
Yeah. I love their sound. I got to talk to Justin. He was on the podcast as well. And
you know that Red Clay Stray song. Are you familiar with the Red Clay Strays?
Mm-hmm.
So they had a song called Stone's Throw. It's like, have you heard of that song?
Yeah.
It's a badass song. Well, a cat named Eric Erdman wrote that song with those guys, and me and Eric wrote Common Sense.
Nice. It's
so
crazy.
This song's good, dude. It's
the spiderweb of just how everybody. I love that. Just how everybody is friends with everybody and collectively behind the scenes. There's just, this is cool. Well,
it's cool that you're like, I'm glad you're here now, man. It's like you didn't ever see, like we were talking about before we started this thing, you didn't see it on your bingo card that you'd be bouncing around with a bunch of country folks down here in Texas and Oklahoma.
No, never. Yeah. Dude, I've been doing this for it's 3 years of not knowing cross Canadian ragweed, and I got Cody Cannon's phone number in my phone. It's unbelievable. Now, would I ever text him? No, I would never burn that bridge unless he ever hit me back up because he wanted to do the podcast, and I'm like, dude, whenever you get the time. And then
he's such a nice guy, man.
The whole family.
He was. We saw him. We were down at Mile Zero Fest this past year or this January, and my wife Angela and I bumped into him and we chatted with him for a bit because he was also one of those people that Ray and Judy took under his wing 25 years ago.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And so as we were chatting, because Judy has told me how well she knows Cody and his wife and family, so when I saw Cody, I didn't know him. I just went up and introduced myself and said hello. And I was like, it sounds like we've kind of been adopted by the same family. And we chatted for a little bit, and he's like, yeah, man, that's exactly the way they are. They're just good people like that. They have a soft spot for. I think that what we need to do. I think that Cody and me and Hayes Carl need to get together and do Ray's Strays. How about that? Let's get a. Of course, that's like that benefits only me. One of these days, if we get a skin or two on the wall, maybe we'll be able to invoke that question with those cats. But until then, we'll wait. We'll pay our dues.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely trying to go to Mile Zero this January. Yeah. It's just always, and it's funny. Like right, I was like, man, I can't go, and then you see all the posts, and you're like, I'm gonna. Dude,
let's get Steve and like 2 other people, bro, because they have these packages where if you do like 5 folks, you can get like better deals on it. Apparently, because that's the way to go, man.
Yeah.
It's expensive to go down there and do Mile Zero Fest, bro.
Yeah, the festival itself is cheap. Like, the $500 for all those bands, it's an island. And they're not making any more land, so it is what it is.
It was a cool time. It was really cold and windy, though, this year. I was told that it's never really been like that before. It was pretty miserable, to be honest with you. Yeah. But you wouldn't be able to tell it by all the people that were at the shows, bro. They were packed.
Yeah.
People just.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to Taylor Honeycutt, and she's like, "I got my tan and stuff and everything." She said, "We didn't bring any warm clothes." I was like,
"We did the same thing."
Yeah.
If I was a vendor in Key West, I'd stock up on sweatshirts just in case, because we went all over that island looking for something warm to wear, because we were the same thing. We didn't bring anything that was appropriate for 40-degree weather.
Yeah. And just because it's surrounded by water, 40 degrees on the waters, it might as well be 20. Yeah.
Well, it was like this. I mean, it hadn't snowed in Florida in like 30 something years, right? And it was snowing in Florida that week.
That's crazy. The whole climate's crazy. I remember my uncle. He
moved. Global warming.
Yeah. He moved to somewhere. It's funny is, even though he lived 30, 40 minutes away from me, I never once popped over like, hey, then when he moved to like 8 hours away, I was like, what Carolina you moved at? He goes, it don't matter. I don't want visitors. I'm like, okay. So whatever Carolina he lives at, he's like, it don't snow. We're moving down there. It's nice weather, kind of get a spring, but it don't snow. So he gave me all of his snow shovels, everything snow related. And that year was the first year it snowed. And I was just like, oh man, I know he's not happy right now, because you're gonna be out there with like a garden shovel, and because like up here, like the world doesn't stop, and it blew my mind that like down south they're like, just wait, it'll melt, just wait.
Yeah.
Because like when I used to work in Boston every other weekend, and I'd be like, man, we got another 1.5 feet of snow. I'm never gonna be able to walk to work. And then there are people out there, no shirts on, just throwing the snow off the sidewalk in the street. And then the trucks come, and it's like, man, up there, they're built for it.
Yep.
But yeah, that's just blew my mind. See, yeah, just wait, it'll melt. Just wait. This isn't all what.
Yeah, we're not prepared for that down here.
Yeah, I'm envious. I'm not even that old, and I'm already like, I am done with the winter. It's cool if you're like snowboarding, but other than that, it's like, what am I gonna do? Go sledding and wreck and hurt? I can't even stretch without hurting myself, let alone do anything fun anymore. But yeah, I wanted to ask, like, when you're like writing a song, are you chasing a sound or a story?
I feel like what I've been doing mostly lately is it's about like concepts. Like I'll have a concept in my mind that I want to speak on, and I have been, I mean, honestly, I have been trying to be cognizant of the political environment that we're in, and I try to approach the topic with the most subjective angle possible, so that anyone can interject themselves into the song and it makes sense. And I heard, I think it was, what's BJ's last name? The cat. I saw him actually, dude. I think he was on your show.
From American
BJ was talking. I think he was talking to you about like how 20 people could come away with 20 different meanings for that song that he wrote, and that was what he loved. Was that you that?
He did talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because I started ever since we met back in October. I started following you, so like I would swear that was him that it said that, and I thought, wow, you know what? That's it. That's the thing. That's the reason that I do this. That's the reason that I want to do this, because like that each person could have their own interpretation of it and it be correct for them.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes it a little bit trickier. Needless to say, I don't write a lot of songs about cold beers and pickup trucks. And like,
good.
I don't drink beer, but I loved beer back in the day. And hell, I've got a nice truck. I love pickup trucks and beer. I'm from Texas. I mean, I can't necessarily consume the beer anymore. I can damn sure drive the truck, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I have, just because I write country songs, that I need to go into that cliche.
Yeah.
I have to write something that makes people think. I feel like I'm doing that right now. It might not always be that way. Hell, come back to me next year and I might be doing nothing but jingles because they pay better.
Yeah.
But but right now that's where I'm at, man. I'm trying to say what I want to say, and then, and see who gets it. And,
Yeah.
um, man, we got a write up by, Americana UK over on the other side of the pond. Ray reached out to me because he read the article. And this was like the most, one of the things that he was talking about being a prosperous songwriter. I think prosperous in this example is that being recognized by either media or your peers or whatever. Or you got paid or whatever. But that I consider like an amazing the thing is that in their write-up, all of the things that they listened to on the songs was spot on to what I wanted to get across.
Oh,
And
wow.
that like made my heart melt. I was like, oh, they got it. Whether they liked it or not, that they got it. But they liked it and they understood where I was writing it from. Man, that's like, oh, sweet. And if I got written up 1,000 other times where everybody said it was a pile of dog whatever, then I would be okay with that simply because of that it got across the one time. And then on top of that, Americana Highways here in the United States, they also did a write-up on this album, and they gave it the same kind of thing, and they got it. And I mean, I think that Corey Morrow is. Do you know who Corey Morrow is? He's a country artist here in Texas. He ran around with Pat Green and still is active country artist. Just an amazing guy, awesome songwriter. He's actually one of my fraternity brothers. But Corey had suggested to me a long time ago. He said, our idea of success is predicated on what we think success is, right? So, I mean, like, whether you want to be able to pay your bills and play live and be on your terms, or do you want to be Taylor Swift or Garth Brooks like and have that kind of thing? Whatever it is, it's good for there's the country or the Americana songwriter that plays all the listening rooms all over the country, and then there's the cats that play on stages, and on festivals and and major arenas and stuff like that, and they're all different animals. But I think that my early interpretation for success is that that someone actually understands what I'm writing. So it's as simple as that. It's like I didn't fuck it up. I didn't like somebody didn't come back and go, "Hey, what did you mean when you said that?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make any sense? Or like,
oh yeah. Now that's.
I like the fact that the song stands on its own. The lyrics actually stand alone, and that means a lot to me. So sometimes the songs come really fast, and sometimes it's a concept that what I'll do is I'll take that concept and then I'll put together some chord progressions, or somebody that I'm co-writing with will have some chord progressions that they want to experiment with, and then I can just sing in the melody over the conversation in my head, and then we play with the words and mix them and meld them and hopefully make them where they make sense and people get it. So yeah, that's it. That's the process.
Yeah. And like you said, when people like get your songs, cause it's gotta be frustrating when, you put a story out there, you put a piece of yourself out there and someone just totally like misses it or misconstrues it or uses it for something that you totally had. You can come out of like left or right field of like, no, that is not what I meant by that. Like,
yeah. Or if it like, and I think that if somebody interprets it a certain way, I'm almost kind of like, oh, that's interesting. I try to see it that way. It's like, wow, okay, cool. I never thought of it like that. That was neat how you turned something that I did into something totally different. I dig it. Like man, that part of this business is very, it's very rewarding, I think.
Yeah.
At least so far it has been. We've had 3 songs that have gone in the top 50 ish. And in Texas country, and we've had one song go in the top 20 on Americana, and this album was in the top 100 before it even released back in February. So we're getting some love from people that are listening to the music. They dig it, and I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah,
so grateful.
That's not what was the highest charting song?
Well, the Off to the Races at one point got to 20. It got to 20 on the AMA Americana charts across the national charts. So the album, I think it, because we had Collin County Jail had some love on it, and we had Love Me Yet, or was it? Love Me Yet came out, and we had some support with that one. We also had there's a song called A Good One to Quit On.
Okay.
And that song we did a video for. So those I think those types of assets kind of help to build for the streams of those. And all of that stuff is combined. You know how it goes, man. You got to do like the marketing piece and getting videos together and supporting it, and doing reels and doing it on your socials. It's a constant thing. But yeah, I think Off to the Races at one point in time, because the album, we'd had enough like build up with Collin County Jail and A Good One to Quit On, that when the album came out and Off to the Races really started clicking well, it launched February 22nd. I think we were 84th in the top 100 on the AMA charts. So
nice.
I didn't even know what to think about that. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. This thing. Anyways, between me, you, and the fence post, it's still going right now. And it's like, it's slipping, bro. It's not. It came out like gangbusters, and now we gotta figure out something different to feed the algorithm differently, because it's not catching as many playlists as we want. But hey, that'll come. I'm not worried about it. Yeah.
The one thing I love, this song, "Love Me Yet," is I like tension. I like. 9 times out of 10, a song gives you the song gives your brain what it wants. It wants the word in sequence in the same rhythm, like tick, 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 tick. But Love Me Yet doesn't do that, because you don't love me. And then it's just like, yet. And it's such a little space of time, but that tension of, it's just like, there it is. And I love that moment, because you're singing it before you say it, going like, what's going on? And then boom, you hit it right towards the end, and it comes around. I really love it. It just gives you, like, your brain wants it, I'm listening in 4/4, whatever tempo, boom, boom. Where to go? I know the song title. I really, and then it just gets you going. Oh, I really like cool, how that's done.
Dude, I love that about you. I've noticed that about you. Listen so intently. Like some of your other things that you'd be like, oh, I love the way that hi-hat runs. You're like, I love the way that snare sounds. Or like, you're almost like you clearly do. Do you do a lot of producing?
Not well. I used to sit down here at my studio and just,
you isolate vocals and stuff, right?
Yeah. And I like cinematic music. So I'd like turn on like Complete Control, complete native instruments and all that, and just put in stuff like that. But yeah, I like how just everything comes together
that's cool,
music.
Man. Well, I appreciate that you liked the way that works in that song. That song was the most difficult song that I've ever written, and by far the most difficult song I've ever had to record, because it's I have an estranged relationship with my daughters. I have a daughter that's 22 and one that's fixing to be 20, and because I got into an all-fire hurry to get it to have kids, I guess, whenever I was in my 20s, and so it's kind of like I haven't seen my kids for like 13 years, bro, and it breaks my heart every day. And one of the things that I've done was, especially with getting sober and everything, is I wanted to make sure that my side of the street was clean whenever they decide to come back and say hello, or if they do. And if they don't, then you know what, that's okay too. Like, again, leaving room for the universe to do its thing. But I made my amends, and then I cleaned up my side of the street, and I changed the way that I act. I wasn't doing myself any favors with those kids when they were young, and it was babies raising babies, and it just was a mess. And it's kind of like that whole parental alienation thing and all that stuff that goes on and on. But Love Me Yet was the song where I was just telling them that I'll do anything, or I'll do whatever in my power to make sure that I'm here whenever you get here. So again, when you're hearing that song for the first time, you're probably not reading that from the position of a dad and his daughters, but that's where I wrote that song from. And that's why it was such a challenge. Like, I remember driving to the studio crying, just like, oh shit, I don't think I can sing the song in a vocal mic, but I did. I did. I was able to get it done, and it sounded good. So now I can do it better. I'm able to play it live and not get all choked up about it because I've gone through a couple of reps. But early in, when that song was fresh in my heart, and man, it was tough. It was tough to get it out.
Yeah, and now, like I was talking. I not on a podcast, but I was talking to Tanner Ussery about his song Josephine, and just like that song like crushed me. I've never been like crushed by a song. And then I was talking to Cody Jinks about that moment of like a lot of times I'll love the music, and like if you're not paying attention, man, because like I always tell the story of like I'm digging BJ from American Aquarium, and I look around, everyone's crying. I'm not used to like music like really hitting people in the feels. And is that like a song where like you sing and you just look out, and if someone's doing something, what I mean? It's got to be. It blows me up because like Cody Jinks was like, he's got the song David. It's got cool, fun music, but it's a sad song. And he says half his audience just hears the music, they're all laughing, and he said the other half are in shambles, crying, and it's just like it's wow. Just like as an artist, like it has to be hard to sing something like that, especially if like people are treating you like background music, or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What if like how do you deal with that? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, man, I tell you how. I've played so many shows for empty rooms. I've played so many shows with 3 people in the whole place, or 8 people, or just my wife and the bartender and the bouncer. And some sketchy places where, like people are coming and going, and it's just like getting reps in. I think maybe it's just being desensitized to people kind of like, I don't know. And that's kind of unfortunate. But one of the cool parts about getting to play a lot of the listening rooms is that people are a lot more reverent to like this experience of the songs. So I really dig that. But like I said, though, that's a different kind of a grind if you want to do the songwriter that tours around on the listening room thing. That's a lot more, first of all, you don't have a band. You don't have quite the overhead. It's just pretty much you. And, so there's that positive, but the negative is it's really a grind, man. It's just you. You don't have a bunch of people, like that you can, man, playing with a band. And I'm sure, it's like, dude, you can get away with some stuff,
Yeah.
You can kind of take it. I can take it easy a little bit, but when it's just you, and silence, then you better be on your P's and Q's, or else it's gonna sound terrible, and it's gonna be amplified.
The first time I went to the listening room, it was incredible. Like, you're waiting at the bar to get a drink. People are like, "I'll take a soda,
and
a water," and I'm like, "All right, okay." So. Everything's like there's signs, and there's just a whole atmosphere. It's just like, man, if you were to like really just act out, I don't think you would have to worry about the staff more as the crowd.
Yeah,
just like a whole mob mentality of like, we're here to
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was,
There's a place.
incredible.
There's a place down here in New Braunfels. Our buddy Dallas Burrow. Has Dallas come on with you yet?
No, I don't
Dallas is cool, man. He's cool as shit. He's running the Redbird listening room. Him and his mom actually are, and they've got some great acts going through there. But it is the coolest freaking little listening room. But if you're ever back down here in Texas, we gotta go pop by there to see it, man. That's a good spot. That's a great one.
Yeah, I've been to the one. It's in Dunn. I came. It's North Carolina or South Carolina. Sorry, the Bird's Nest, and it was cool. It was my I'm like, well, it's a listening room, and it's just like, oh, it's kind of like a music library.
Yeah,
and it's cool because people there, they're like minded. You don't have to. You can be standing up front, and there's no worries of getting hit in the head with something or just pushing and shoving. Just a more mature kind of.
Yeah, a little bit more subdued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was fun. And like there are certain shows where like I know enough now to be in front or in back or off to the side of let the youngins have their fun, and I can get pulled over and the officer will be like, get out the car. But I swear I was just standing there. Yeah. Like some of these shows is just wild. And it's, I don't know, it just recently, like a lot of the stuff that went viral was the Braxton Keith.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I went and saw them Dirty Roses and they said something. And I was like, man, it's crazy how that happened down in Texas. And here we are out in, not really north. We were down in Virginia. How it's just stuff. It's just the power of the internet and socials of that just blew up.
Yeah.
Just being in the comments of Braxton's like, no, man, I like Gavin. I'm not throwing any shade on him. I'm just saying, well, it's not a Gavin.
They had a follow-up deal over the weekend where they were sitting down at a bar together.
Yeah, welcome to the big leagues.
I started thinking, I was like, dude, did they do this on? Are their teams just really good? Like, did they know? My conspiracy theory brain goes off. I'm like, man, did they plan that shit? Because that'd be genius if they did, right?
What do you have any, like, when you thought about it, did you have any ideas of what you could do? Just because stuff.
No, man. But
if it bleeds, it leads,
dude. If being on a stage and having beer thrown on the stage would have to mean that you have a lot of people there, right?
Yeah. Nobody's doing it uncovered, like the one guy in the crowd, like, hey, it was you. What, me? Oh. Normally it's somebody tucked in a crowd who would never do it.
Yeah.
By themselves. It's just that that whole crowd, the camouflage in the crowd. It's funny.
Man, I definitely wouldn't want to have people throwing beer up there on the stage, but it sure would be nice to have that many people at your shows.
Oh man, dude, yeah, like that has to be like. I was just backstage at the Texas Motor Speedway just to see if people just and just that feeling of looking out, but that feeling has to be so much more powerful, and it's just like 16 feet away of just being in front of a boom stand and people just screaming back your lyrics and all that. There's just nothing, because I've done bars where there's a lot of people, and it's weird because like once you as a guitar player, once you step off, it's gone. That feeling, it's gone. And the lady at the Waffle House she don't know your music, she don't care. Everyone was just like, yeah, man. It's like, how do you want these? You want them over easy? What don't you want? I'm like, oh, back to the real world. That was always my thing, because I still had a 9 to 5. Is you would do music on the weekends, something that like I would love to be able to do full time. Would love it. Like, you know, like when people say like, find a job you could do for free. And I'm like, dude, yeah, music, but you know, you need money, you need health insurance, you need all that. And then you just get this feeling that nothing else, or for me compared to, you know, and it's just, it's over. You go back and, you know, you punch in, you're like, damn it.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's been a heck of a ride and a great journey so far. So we're just, you know, like I said, man, we're really just getting warmed up. We started doing this full time in 2020, and then like literally our first album, or it was an EP, was set to release March 2020. So needless to say, that didn't happen the way that it should have. So we kind of had to do a little re-rack, and some kind of had to go back to the well and organize all of our media and branding and all that stuff all over again. And yeah, man. And now it's like, I think it's on the right trajectory. We're out there in Nashville. I'm playing pretty regularly at the local out there at the Music Row Freak Show. Those people out there are badass. Like the best writers in the country are at that bar and on those stages right there, because like Dave Gibson, who wrote like Queen of Memphis, all the way, like Daddy Never Was a Cadillac Kind, you know, all those 90s songs, those cats that wrote those songs, they go play in there. And then people that got cuts with Cody Johnson and Ashley McBride and all the songwriters that are writing those songs are in that bar when you're in Nashville. I'm telling you, man, if you get a chance to go out there, sneak over to the local. And that's where like a lot of those really, really dug in songwriters are kicking it. And it's Terry Jo Box is actually the lady who runs that thing. And she is just a sweetheart. She's taking us under her wing and lets us get out there every now and then and play our stuff. And so grateful for that.
Nice. Now, yeah, for 2025, do you have like a goal you want to hit? Or
yeah, man, you know, I think what we did was we got a new booking manager on Top Shelf Talent, is actually kind of came on board on the team, and we're gonna start playing some more festival shows and stuff like that. We're gonna try to, you know, we're getting into some better rooms. I've got my drummer, keyboard player / saxophone player, dude's he's like a Swiss Army knife. As far as musicians go, he's classically trained on all of it. So he's just amazing to have as a member. I think it's Randy Sandin. And between him just sitting on a cajon and literally playing the keys, and he'll jump on his saxophone during certain spots in our sets. So we have a dynamic show with just the two of us, but we have a guitar player, a bass player that's in Austin who's going to be coming on. So our band is just, you know, it's developing, it's growing slowly, but I'm not trying to force any square peg in a round hole or anything like that. It's kind of letting it come together naturally, and so far so good. But, you know, we're just, as far as to answer your question, doing, you know, just getting on, you know, bigger bills and, you know, reaching more people and starting to stretch our legs out to, you know, playing on the East Coast a little bit more and going up there to the West Coast. We got like I said, we got some write-ups over in the UK that were positive, and we're looking to go over there and get on the Eurorail and play a couple of shows over there across the pond. So all of those things, man, I don't know if those are going to happen in 2025, but we're damn sure laying the tracks for that to happen in 26, hopefully. But hell, if it happens in 25, then man, that'd be great too.
Yeah. Dude, talking about the UK, I was in Winchester, Virginia. I went to Them Dirty Roses show, and we went to the after party, and I just said, like, I was like, I can't remember how I asked. I not like, I try, like, when I'm hanging out, I don't like, I'm not like TMZ. I'm not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I try not to film the shows because I'm a fan too, and I don't want to live behind a screen when I'm at a show. And I said, what's like the coolest thing you guys have done since the last time I've seen you? And he's like, we went to the UK. He said, you know, we have some they're a Southern rock band. I don't know if you know them, 30 Roses, but he's like, yeah, we were playing some Southern rock covers, thinking, giving the people what they want. He said, man, the guy pulled us to the side and said, we love you. We want to hear only you. And he's like, gotcha. He said it was an incredible experience. And I've seen like Randall King talk about the differences of just the type of fan down there, of just how if they're like a fan, like they know like everything about you. And he said because they're like a hype band. He said, they were just standing there like absorbing the entire experience. He said it was totally different. And I've never been over there, and I can only imagine of just like crowds not responding. Like you play your first song and no one's moving, nobody's doing anything, but when you're done, they're like, and when you start playing it, it's just like a noise gate.
Hey, bro, check this out. So Justin Ross just sent me a text message, man. Are we? Did we see? I don't see comments on this thing. Can you see comments on or anything? He's like, gave you a shout out, man. So Justin Ross said hello, man. That dude is awesome, man.
Yeah, I like him. I randomly joined one of his TikTok lives and talked to him for a little bit, and then man, we talked for a long time on the one TikTok. I didn't know he was like 6'7".
Yeah, dude.
I'm like, man, this gotta be terrible touring.
Dude,
I'm 6'1", and
the funny thing is that we opened for him on New Year's, right? And like, so his microphone stand, because they set their band up and everything. So I just set up my mic stand right next to his mic stand, and Randy was over here to my right. So I've got a mic stand that's like way up here right next to me. I'm like, man, that's the size of that dude right there. Yeah,
that's funny.
He's on up there, man. He's a big boy.
Yeah,
but dude, I tell you what though, man, when it comes to just artistry in general, just the way that they are doing the videos and the way that they're doing the sound and production and everything, man, dude, I tell Justin and all the guys in there, I say that they're the best damn band in the land. And the reason I say that is because, dude, have you heard them live?
No, I haven't seen them.
Bro, go watch them. Go watch them live, and then come back to me and tell me what you think, because it's powerful, bro.
Yeah,
it's good.
I like their sound, and it was when he was like, "Yeah, we're an acoustic band." I'm like, "What?" And you listen to it, you're like, "Wow."
Yeah, dude. He says that. Then he takes an acoustic guitar and makes it sound amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how that cat, like, his hands are so big too, so that he can be so accurate with a little neck, man. I don't know. Hats off to that cat.
Yeah, that's like I don't know, Buckethead. He has to play long scale guitars because he's such a big guy, and he says it looks like toys.
Yeah,
when he's just standing there. Yeah, when he said it, I don't even know how it came out. It just came out organically. When he said 6'7", I was like, yeah, that's a big thing, because touring. When you first started, again, we were in like the back of like single cab trucks, and I'm 6'1", and I'm like, oh, this is terrible. I can't imagine 6'7". I'd be like, I'll drive.
Yeah.
I drive everywhere.
The way it rolls with them too.
Yeah.
All right.
I definitely they have a great sound. It's cool, like just how everybody has like their own sound down there, and it's just how many sound studios or recording studios and some of the people that go to the same ones, but everybody comes out with like an EP or an album that sounds like them. And that's the one thing I love about what's going on down there in Texas, is like you and Justin could go into the same space, record. You could even record songs together, but if it was under a different, it would sound different. It would still have your style, their style, and characteristics. Because that's the one thing I miss about music, is when even back in the day, like to consume your music, the radio was a huge thing, and it's not like curated towards your taste. So if one of your favorite bands had a a new song out, like you necessarily hadn't heard it before until you heard it on the radio. But back in, like, you know, it sound old, like the heyday, like you could hear a guitar and go, that's AC/DC. This is AC/DC. That's Metallica. You knew them. Even non-music people would know.
Oh yeah,
the tone of a band. And
or Eddie Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen. He could play on a shit guitar and a shit amp, but you'd still know it's Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, but you give that same rig that Eddie Van Halen's playing, like his regular rig, to somebody else, and it doesn't sound like Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, it's just, yeah, you're right. It's totally like a fingerprint.
Yeah. I definitely. That's what I really loved. Like the first time of listening to like Texas country, and I know like there's a lot of other artists doing the same thing in other places, but let's just go with the biggest one. That's Texas, and just listening to it, I'm like, man, it sounds like they're playing like Mesa Boogie amps. Like these got some hard edge to it, and like you got harmonica on your stuff.
Yeah.
And it's funny is like man, I wish I could know what song. And I was just like writing guitar solos to it in my head. I'm like, oh man. I was like, Christopher would be like, yo, dude.
Hey man, you know how I do it. I've already told you, man. I'd encourage it.
I'd be like,
I want to hear it. I want to hear what you got, man. Like that's the kind of thing that stirs me up, man. I love it when I can hear somebody else that says, hey man, you know what? I heard this in here. What do you think about? Yes, let's do that.
Yeah,
you know?
Dude, definitely on my, I was driving home today. I mean, I wish I could know what song. I was like, man, I could just tell the harmonica players just to back down a little bit and just do some blues licks to this.
Hell yeah.
Instead of like, you know, like in your head, like fighting on stage.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna start responding to Justin here in a minute, and I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna say we're gonna get Patrick to come down here on May 21st and come out here and help us record this song, man. We're gonna see what kind of shit he wants to put in here on it. What do you think, Pat? You think we can get that to happen? Can we make that happen, man?
Is it I'm trying to May 21st.
It's a Wednesday.
Oh, that would definitely be some time off of work. Man, I'll tell you what, my first flight to Texas, I could not believe. Like, I looked at it and I was like, oh, 4 hours, that's not that bad. I swear, with 2.5 hours, the pilot was like, all right, you know, we got about 15, 25 minutes, and we're going to be asking you to stow away your things, and we're going to be in Dallas, Fort Worth. And I was like, what? And then the lady next to me was like, am I on the right plane? I'm like, you're going to wait all this time to ask that, but on the way home, same thing. I was like, man, it's really as big as Texas is in itself, airport wise. If you're just going around like Dallas and whatnot, you can. It's just like what Steve, like what Talbot was saying, is like pretty much anywhere in the country is very accessible from Dallas Fort Worth to that airport. I was like, man,
yeah, that's why we got so many people moving here in this area, this North Dallas, Texas, Dallas Fort Worth. I think I saw somewhere that they were saying that we have 1,700 families moving into North Texas every week.
Every week. Wow.
Every week. It's families, not people, families.
That's crazy.
I think that was at the height of when everybody was kind of buying houses they were moving from California to in here. I think it was 22, 23. They were saying that those were those numbers. I don't know what they look like now, but it's insane how much it's growing here. But same thing's happening in Nashville too, man. It feels like it's like both of these two towns that I spend a lot of time in, they're almost identical. They're both just blowing up. So I guess anywhere that doesn't have a state tax and you can kind of keep a little bit more of your money. And I think that's where also dragging these folks here. But man, I've got a sign on one of my Yeti coolers that I keep up on the stage sometimes. It says, "Don't California my Texas." And I say that with respect because you're leaving California to come here for a reason.
Yeah.
Don't bring that reason with you. You know what I mean? Leave that there if that's the case, or stay there, but don't bring that with you because there's a reason, right? So
Yeah.
don't bring that stuff here. And unfortunately, I think that I don't know that wish is going to hold true because we're getting bombarded, man. But I remember when I was able to do some dove hunting just north of where I live right now, and now we have got more regulations to where I'm gonna have to find a deeper part of the country to move into, Patrick.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I kind of had the same thing. Like when people are like, "Oh, you don't like country music? You don't like country life?" I'm like, no, that's totally because where I grew up, where I went to high school, like you knew people's cars. You'd be like, that's them. It was a very, to me, I would say small, not as small as some of like talking to people from like Louisiana, like when they had to like shorten the roster of the football teams because there wasn't enough kids to play. That's small. But I was like, yeah, we had Amish, we had fields, and then like it used to be like a place where I used to like drive the windy back roads, and now it's like, man, you got these people in these like Cadillac SUVs that are driving in the middle of the road because they have no idea how to drive these roads, and it's like, I'm like, this is terrible. It feels like you're in town now. I'm like, man, like, and now you got to go farther.
Hey, our third party just chimed back in, Patrick. It looks like that he's all in for you coming out and doing this recording on Wednesday the 21st, man. So,
dude, I got to do something because I love playing. I'm not like a really good like session guy because but the last time I went, like, I didn't have my own stuff, and they gave me guitars with nines, and I have a heavy hand, and man, the guy's like, dude, stop playing so hard. I'm like, this is how I play, I'm like, I'm really trying, and then you get into your head.
I'm trying to think out of the box here, and I think I've locked onto something pretty good here. So remember, so we did that. We met at this deal in at the White Elephant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was in October. Yeah. Are you guys gonna do that thing again?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so cool. So here's the plan. So we record this thing May 21st, right? So I think that what we're gonna do is we're gonna have it tentatively gonna be scheduled for a release somewhere in September. So maybe what we can do, maybe we could coordinate it to release on the same day that the Country versus Metal thing goes on at the White Elephant, and we could somehow orchestrate it to where we could get at that bar on the band stage. We could just play that song right there that night, and you can hop up and do whatever. And by then, you'll clearly have the MP3 to practice or get whatever you need to get on. You don't have to fly with a guitar. We got plenty of guitars down here. Just kind of get us what you need. And then we pop up there, play one song, and be good. What do you say?
Hey, I will never turn down stage time.
Okay, dude. All right. Well, let's see if we can make it happen.
I'm down.
All right. Well, Justin said he's in, so.
That's funny. Dude, yeah. I'm always... Even that, like our one thing in our one band was, if we were together, everybody had to go up, not just cherry picking, because there's always the bass player sitting. You're just looking out there, and you're like, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, if someone's like, hey man, I'm already up there plugging in.
Yeah, man.
I'm a huge fan of just being on stage, and it's just like, in that time, I always tell people, I love this. Like, what are you planning on doing tonight? And I always like the saying, I plan on driving nails in this stage, and just give it 100 and give it everything, because you never know. Like,
yeah,
when's the next time? Or it's something can happen. I'm always paranoid. That's like, I was doing like line work, but if there was like any pinch points, I'd be like, not me. I ain't put my hand in that. Nope. I will not have the luck of Tony Iommi. God, right It was the day before he was going on tour with Ozzy. He chopped his fingertips off, and it's like, no, not me. But yeah, man, definitely that would be cool as hell.
Well, man, let's make it happen, bro. Yeah, I got some people that are fixing to start coming in that door here in about 3 minutes. So,
I got you, dude. Thanks for jumping on,
dude. I'm glad we got to do it, man. I was looking forward to it, man. I'm good to get to catch up with you, man. Look forward to seeing you when you get back down here.
Yeah, dude, definitely. We got to meet up. And if there's anything you ever want me to help with, or anything, any idea you have, of putting music out there, dude, just message me. Just let them know.
Hold on, let me make sure I got your. Well, we'll do this when we get off this thing. But I need to get your number so I can, and be careful with what you wish for. Because you got to get. I'll be like having song ideas being thrown at you, man. So I like
curation and a direction, because other than that, I am like very all over the place.
All right, hey, that works too.
I can dig it. But yeah, man, thanks for hopping on.
You got it, brother.